So Anuj and I were sitting here brainstorming different topics that we could talk about in this podcast. And one of them that came up that we had seen somebody do a video on was why it's important to look broke, or why if you want to get rich, you need to look poor. And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking whether or not it's true or not. And you could go so many different directions with this. For the one hand, I think there's no need to look poor out of some like sense of austerity and like not wanting to like show off your wealth, and you're afraid of that, right? On the other side, not pursuing wealth just for the sake of winning the status game and having nice things that you can show off to people, right? But there is actually a very interesting reason I just thought of for why it's valuable to look poor if you want to build wealth. And it's probably not what you think it is. So many years ago, I learned that there is no advantage in life to being overestimated. There's no advantage to being overestimated. Think about that. If you show up, and people say all the time, you got to fake it till you make it, right? You got to look the part and dress the part, right? The problem with that is people hold you to that standard, right? If you show up in that suit and tie, you got the nice watch, and you've projected the thing into their minds, which is what you wanted. That person looks competent. They look like they know what they're doing. Well, what if they think that you're more competent than you really are? And so you are now held to this higher standard. And if you don't live up to that, they're disappointed. And because you're being overestimated, there's no chance that you can live up to it. And so it's actually better, in my experience, to go through life being underestimated, because then new opportunities appear to you, because people don't take you as seriously. They count you out, they discount you. And that gives you the opportunity to move in silence, to move in a different way that's not under so much scrutiny. Now, when people see you doing what you're doing, they don't assume that you're some strategic genius or that you're highly competent. They just write you off. And that gives you the freedom to act and move without that level of questioning. And I have found that, specifically in the world of business and in the world of acquisitions and real estate, to be very, very valuable. And I think this is why a lot of the old school real estate guys here in the Twin Cities that you meet, they roll up in like their Wrangler jeans and like old t-shirts and like flannel shirts, and they just weren't driving a modest truck. You roll up and you're like, oh, that guy doesn't really know what he's doing. And they talk like that too. You don't get the sense that this person really knows what they're doing. It's kind of, aw shucks, they kind of just fell into it. And those guys end up like they fleece you. They take you for everything, versus the guy who rolls up in the Mercedes wearing the suit and the tie and the shades. You're like, that guy is a shark. I need to be careful. And if he isn't truly a shark, then you like, that guy had nothing coming from the fact that he was being overestimated, right? And so I want you to think about that. Like, what is the advantage to going through life faking it till you're making it and hoping people think more highly of you? It's just setting you up for failure. So instead, take the underdog position. Everybody loves an underdog story, right? And everybody should seek to be the underdog, because you get to move without the pressure. I would much rather go into a championship fight as the underdog than as the overwhelming favorite. Because the overwhelming favorite, and I learned this the hard way. When I was in 9th grade, I won the South Dakota State Chess Championship. I remember I got back into the car that evening with my dad. I put the trophy in the trunk, and he's like, "How did you do?" And I said, "I won." And he said, "Good, you were supposed to." And I was the most highly rated player in that tournament. So yeah, statistically, I should have won. And I learned a lesson at that point that kind of like scarred me for many years, actually, which was, you don't get bonus points for doing what was expected, right? When you do what everybody thinks you're supposed to do, that just gets written off as like, yeah, of course, you were the best. Like, you're supposed to win. But if Michael Phelps doesn't win the gold medal, like he gets ostracized even more. And so it's better generally to go through life being the underdog rather than the overwhelming favorite. And that's why I think it is so important, actually, to go through life, not necessarily looking poor and haggard and like you're not put together or anything like that, but trying to present yourself as close in reality to who you are, and not trying to cast a vision further ahead of where you are currently. Because again, it's better to underpromise and overdeliver. And it's the same thing with, even if you're not making a conscious promise to people in their minds and saying like, I promise I'm going to be able to hit the standard, right? That's what you're trying to exude in your external status signaling. So just bring it down. Take the pressure off. Go out there and look poor. That's going to do it for me, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.